Americans' national security, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back, and without objection, the letters will be entered into the record. So ordered. Any further discussion? Chair recognizes Mr. Tonko. For what purpose do you seek recognition?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move to strike the last word.
You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I strongly oppose the Choice in Automobile Retail Sales Act. EPA has an important mission to protect human health and the environment, and this bill seeks to prevent EPA from fulfilling its responsibilities. It does not seem to matter that the proposed rule from EPA will save lives, or that it is expected to result in up to an estimated $1.6 trillion, that's trillion with a T, in benefits. EPA has an obligation under the Clean Air Act to protect public health by addressing air pollution, including from mobile sources. And we know that vehicles covered by this proposed rule will account for a large amount of greenhouse gas pollution, as well as other dangerous pollutants. But putting aside those health and environmental benefits, we should see this rule as an opportunity to further drive technological innovation. Over the last several years, or over the coming several years, the vehicle model years covered by EPA's proposed rule, we expect the cost of EVs to come down significantly, the performance and range of EVs to improve, and consumer demand for EVs to continue to grow. Let's stop looking backwards and stop trying to deny Americans the health and the economic benefits of EVs. And that includes significant job benefits. Because if we do this right, these vehicles will be built here with U.S.-made components and U.S.-made batteries. That is the vision imagined by the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act and by the Inflation Reduction Act. And by all public reports, that is exactly what is beginning to happen with the litany of private sector commitments and investments to build new manufacturing facilities all across our country. Rather than prejudge the outcome of a not yet finalized EPA rulemaking process, we should be working together to help overcome any barriers, real or just perceived, that may slow down EV adoption. In the meantime, we should not block proposed public health protections that will provide more than $1 trillion of benefits to the American people.
Yes.
With that, I urge my colleagues to oppose this bill, and Madam Chair, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. I'd like to recognize myself to strike the last word and speak in support of H.R. 4468, the CARS Act. At the Detroit Auto Show, President Biden said he believes the U.S. can own the future of the automobile market. Unfortunately, by using the EPA to institute government mandates and restrictions, he's handing the keys of America's auto future to China. We are offering a different approach with the CARS Act, one that encourages free enterprise and innovation. We want Americans to continue to have the ability to choose the best transportation options for their lives. Opening up mobility options has revolutionized people's lives. It's helped lift so many out of poverty. EPA's tailpipe emission standards for light and medium-duty vehicles force the auto market toward 100% battery electric vehicles only. The fact is, these cars are expensive and unreliable in many parts of the country where infrastructure like charging stations are unavailable. And the EVs is a market that China controls, the biggest polluter in the world. We win, the United States of America will win by innovating, building here at home, and letting people choose the cars they want to drive. Whether they are the more and more fuel-efficient internal combustion engines, hybrids, plug-in hybrids, hybrid hydrogen, electric vehicles, or maybe something else still to be created. We do not win by dictating to people and businesses that there will only be one option. The American way and why the CARS Act revokes EPA's dangerous tailpipe emission standards and ensures that any future rulemaking do not mandate the use of specific vehicle technology. We should be proud. I'm so proud of our auto leadership over the past century and working to make sure that the United States continues to lead for the next 100 years. We shouldn't be ceding that to China. After all, we know China isn't focused on reducing carbon emissions. Since 2007, their emissions are skyrocketing. Again, China's the biggest polluter in the world. Today, China's building on average every week 2 coal-fired plants to meet their goal of electrification. China dominates access to critical minerals, controlling 76% of global battery cell production capacity for electric vehicles, 75% of the lithium-ion batteries, the majority of the processing, the refining capacity for over half of the world's lithium, cobalt, graphite. Last quarter, it was China. China, ladies and gentlemen, that became the largest exporter of new motor vehicles, EVs, in the world, surpassing Japan. Forcing Americans to switch to EVs is playing into China's scheme. Chinese electric company, EV companies are developing a foothold in Europe and are expanding manufacturing now in countries like Mexico, right in our backyard. Now, you all know I've heard some of my Democrat colleagues and our current Secretary of Energy state that we need to follow China's lead. I don't agree. President Biden is implementing top-down government mandates that are going to drive up costs, stifle innovation, limit our choices, and benefit China. This bill and others before us offer a better approach, one that ensures people have access to affordable, reliable, functional means of transportation, and that should be a bipartisan goal. We cannot win the future with China making our cars. We cannot win the future with the federal government dictating our lives or sending our U.S. auto jobs overseas. We need to stay focused on the real goal, which is continued American leadership in the auto sector, while being good stewards of the environment. We've been doing this for decades, and the results have been that it's the United States of America that is leading in bringing down, lowering carbon emissions, while also providing more affordable, clean transportation options for people. The CARS Act and other bills ensure we continue to build on that important legacy. I encourage my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to support our solutions today, and I yield back. Further discussion? All right. The gentlelady from Florida.